So we want to like clear some shit out. So we're going to do a little burning ceremony. And I honestly might do this 2 nights in a row because I'm doing sage tomorrow and I'm like, we might burn many nights. Like there's just gonna be a whole lot of fire. But if you guys want to start thinking about what you want to release, and I would like for the focus, if possible, if it aligns, for you to consider like what might be holding the heart space back from softness, from expansion, and especially the stuff around the high heart. So I don't know how familiar with the high heart everybody is, but there's like a dual chakra or vibration energy around the heart because it's so potent. It's the transition space from the matter chakras to the ether chakras. And so there's like the heart, which is typically seen as that green color. And then there's the high heart, which is often seen as a pink color. And so the high heart is the higher vibration functions of the heart. So we can all kind of see this differently because it will often depend on like what the high heart functions are for you in your current life. So for instance, if one of your main lessons is about grief or loneliness or self-love, like that can be a high heart function for you specifically. But high heart is typically like when we can start to pull some of the more egoic things out of the heart space. So like when we're pissed at somebody and we need to forgive them, when we're shameful and we have to forgive ourselves, it's like, yeah. Those are like very 3D human heart things. When we start to expand into these more like, oh, I'm not dealing with negativity or lower vibration, but how can I elevate more? How can I open more? How can I be more and more authentic? Like, how do I soften the beauty of life, the pleasure of life? Those are the things that I typically associate with the high heart. So that's a great focal point for this releasing practice of like, what are those kind of lower vibrations that pull on my heart? And if I were to release them, that I could step into the high heart. All right. So I'm going to get started. And everybody who is not here with us can check this out on the replay. So I have been working with my cards already, just kind of getting them all set with my vibration and energy. So since my decks often are used by other people, I knock my decks off before I start working with them just to dissipate any energy on them that's not mine, that's not for the intention of the specific reading, because my decks are often reading for me, for other people. And so depending on the vibration that's been around them, I like to like cleanse it, clear it, start new. You can also cleanse them like with smudge, sage, incense, any of that type stuff. We just want to be mindful of like anything wet. I said incense in my nose automatically. It was like, I smell that. So we don't like taint the pictures and such. But after I knock them off, which I already did, I touch each individual card. And I typically, when I'm doing that, I'm saying my own name or the name of the person that I'm reading for. So when I did that today, I'm saying Deep Waters, I'm saying membership, I'm saying our community, I'm thinking about you guys, I'm looking at pictures of your faces, I'm, feeling into the messages that I've sent in chats, like all those types of things to really put the vibration of our group into the cards. And then after I do that, I will start to shuffle, which I've been doing, and I will either ask my question or set my intention. So for tonight, I'm going to ask our cards, ask our guides, ask anyone, anything who's here for our highest vibration. What's a message we need to see? What's a message we need to hear? What's a message we need to feel, understand, know, believe, be reminded of? I let them know that I'm open and available for message to come through, not just the cards, but through me, through the messages that are written, through the images that are seen, through the things that people speak. And I just start to like create an invocation, a spell, a portal opening for me and those who are here to support us, the cards themselves, the intention of the artist, anyone present in the making of them. And then I can go a couple different ways with this. Sometimes I will cut the deck and pick from the top. Other times I'm fanning that out and pulling. If I'm using my pendulum, I'll split it into like maybe 4 decks and use my pendulum to see, is there a card in here for me? Sometimes a card jumps right out at me. So I am going to do that today. All right, so 2 of Pentacles. The very first thing that I do when I read is I look at the picture deeply. So I'm going to give you guys just a little bit of time to look at the picture. And I ask that you type in the chat what stands out to you specifically. What do you see? What are your eyes drawn to? What stories are you making up? What snippets from movies? What songs? What clips? What any information is coming to you that you see? All right, now I'm gonna look too. Wow, this is such a beautiful one. God, all these cards are so beautiful. Okay, so let's see. Purple, yep. B. I love that you saw a bee, Jenny, because like you said that and then I looked at it and I was like, I know it's a moth, but like I like the bee because my sister just got her bee tattoos. She has a bee on each arm now. Oh my God, I'm so excited for that. Purple, third eye vibes, petal, you would. Flowers, free, fly, awesome. Okay, so I've been talking a lot about God recently, like God, goddess, God consort, source, godliness, church, my own church, like all these types of things. So it's very cool that I'm seeing like the archways of not necessarily organized religion, but the way that I like understand religion. I'm also seeing the honeycomb pattern now that you've mentioned bees, Jenny. I'm like fully in it with you. The moth, the woman standing really to me looks like I am at a precipice and she's not scared. She's not like, oh my God, I'm going to fall. She's like, I'm going to fucking jump. Like I'm going to dive. This is magical. Like I fucking got this. And then I also see in the very back behind the archway that there's space, cosmic, like just planetary. I can see. I also see peonies, which are one of my favorite flowers. So we're going to do that one more time. See if you see something new. See if you see something that someone else pointed out. See if you start to create a story. See if you're seeing visual things on the card itself, or see if your third eye is starting to activate and you're seeing things in your mind. Then after I look and focus and kind of allow myself to offer my own stories, my own downloads, so that I know, okay, I've looked at this, I pointed this out, like this stood out to me. Wonderful. I feel like I see a shadow. I see the space moving behind the arches. I love that. Then I go into the book and I read it. A young woman stands at the edge of an ornate gateway. Here, the mountains and ocean in the distance represent the passage of challenges she must surmount. She balances on either side of this vision, assessing the routes that are being presented to her. The moth identifies an inner transformation of evolution and change. The flowers bloom new opportunities into this picture. Progress, balance, transition, adaptability, goals. How can I maintain a sense of balance in my life? Lovely. Let's write that one out. How can I maintain a sense of balance in my life? I ask that you guys consider that question and look at what comes up in resistance and opposition for the releasing practice today. So if your answer to how can I maintain a sense of balance in my life is carving out 15 minutes of alone time every day, then something you might release might be, you know, the pressure to get dinner ready at a certain time, or the pressure to support my husband when he comes home late and like makes you want to circumvent those things. So considering how can I maintain a sense of balance in my life, and opposition, how can we release some of the blockages, some of the opposition to that? Yes. So if more self-care, more consistent, more discipline, more frequent, more time of self-care, start to get specific with that, Jenny, of like, what does that look like for you? And then what stands in the way of that? What do I envision at the finish line? That's a perfect two-part prompt for us. What do I envision at the finish line? So anytime I'm releasing, that's a wonderful question for us to ask, of like, if I'm releasing this thing, this opposition, this thing that's standing in the way, and I know what I'm aiming for, asking ourselves that full question of like, what do I envision at the finish line? So it's not just, oh, more self-care, I'll feel better, but like, can I picture that? Can I feel that? Like, how many times have I done a 10-day stretch where I've like drank my water in the morning, taken my supplements, meditated every day, and spent 15 minutes alone? What do I feel like at the end of that? For me, that frame of reference is when I come home from an ayahuasca retreat of like, I've been on an ayahuasca diet. I've been around the most high vibration people, committed to healing. I've been eating well. I've been in the sunshine. I've been working with Madre, and I come home and I'm like, this is the peak. It's like going downhill from here. Like, I know that like, this is the manifestation moment, because when I get home, my diet starts to shift and I'm not as consistent. And so I am able to go, okay, this is what it feels like. That's what's at the end of my finish line when I get more consistent, when I maybe set bite-sized practices as my benchmark so that I can achieve all of them, be consistent, move forward, and then expand. I balance my life from within. I treasure the moments of love and play. As a card of momentum and change, the Two of Pentacles often highlights those moments in life that require a bit of juggling and adaptability. When tasks, responsibilities, obligations, scheduling, and everything in between tend to pull us in a million different directions. This key prompts us to consider how we find a happy balance between these active forces. This card may also point to future goals that are rising within you, marking a transition of creative invention into pure manifestation. For all that you have accomplished, you should continue to move forward and be proud of your success. But do not forget to acknowledge the other important, meaningful aspects of your life that also nourish your soul. What drives you to rise? All right, I'm going to read this again, and I ask that each of you consider which line is for you, which chunk, which message, which word, because when we're reading cards specifically, when we're using the booklet, it is not about taking it as a pre-prescribed, this entire thing is for you exactly as it is stated. It is about opening ourselves and allowing our intuition to speak to us. So we've gotten an overview. We kind of understand like what it's about. Now I want you guys to sink in. If that's eyes closed, if that's hands on the heart, if that's picturing the card in your mind, if that's seeing the story of what I'm reading, if that's just listening to my voice, if that's focusing on the third eye and seeing what lights up, I want you guys to consider what messages are popping for you and how are they popping for you. As a card of momentum and change, the Two of Pentacles often highlights those moments in life that require a bit of juggling and adaptability. When tasks, responsibilities, obligations, scheduling, and everything in between tend to pull us in a million different directions. This key prompts us to consider how we can find a happy balance between these active forces. This card may also point to future goals that are arising within you, marking a transition of creative invention into pure manifestation. I love that. What drives you to rise? For the next few days, maybe for the next week, for the next 3 days, what if every morning before you put your feet on the ground, you ask yourself, what drives me to rise? Like what truly drives me, gets me excited to rise out of bed, to lift myself up, to expand myself. I love that. And like allowing yourself to intentionally manifest in your day of like, if it's the call that you have, if it's the email you're going to write, if it's the post you're going to make, if it's checking in on this friend, like truly setting that intention that like, this excites me and like elevates me and I'm rising to it. Like this is driving me rather than me driving it, like forcing it. It's like, it is just taking me. It's so easy. I love the idea of it being easy for you, Jenny. A happy balance. A happy balance. So the thing I see with happy balance is I see the woman, what is it, like Justice? She's like blindfolded and has the scales. So normally it's a very stoic face. So I see her blindfolded and like the children are running and laughing and she's smiling underneath the blindfold. And when she smiles, her hands go from balanced to this. And so that balance is not always 50-50. And so that's the main thing that I'm hearing when I hear a happy balance is like, remind her it's not 50-50, like remind her it's not equal effort into every part. That happy you behind the blindfold that happy you that's in the space where the laughter of children expands you and excites you instead of like stresses you. That's the happy balance. Once you could, once you were able, and I'm sure the like presence and the intention and the sweetness and the like vibrational programming that you offer when you're filling your cup and then give from the overflow, so good.
Yeah, for sure. So that's why I agree.
I love that Maya Angelou quote. I think it's Maya Angelou where she's like, you do the best you can until you know better, and then you fucking do better. Like, I don't think she says the fucking part. I think she's like, you do better. The fucking part's the Lindsay Schroeder part. The beautiful quote is Maya Angelou. The fucking part is Lindsay Schroeder. Cool me on that. I'm gonna make that into like a post where it's like Maya Angelou's and then a little insert with the fucking and then Lindsay Schroeder. That's perfect. So on brand. I know you probably can't come off mute, but if you can at any point put what stood out for you, any of the words, any of the images, anything like that, even if it's not about the card, because they're showing me that like what's going on for you, it might be a lot. But anything that's standing out for you right now through any of this, if you point it out, I feel like that'll open a channel for me, because I want to make sure that if you want to get anything, I give them an opportunity, like something to work off of for you. I have a little candle here and I have my little baby cauldron. So I do want to do a little bit of releasing in the active practice portion. So I would love to hear from you guys what things you're releasing, what things under this bright balance really stuck out to me. Oh, nice. Balance for you too. Okay, hang on. The quantum vision board that I've showed you guys. So to me, what that means, yes. So purple, oh my God, I've got so many things, one at a time, guys. Okay, purple, is that your color all the time, or is that more specific to like this year, this phase? Because they're showing me you're in the like crown chakra permeating into other things, just this like ability to open intentionally. There we go. Because the crown chakra is the purple. And so the purple that I'm getting from them, they're showing me that like you're in this phase of being able to intentionally, consciously, purposely open the crown up and be able to like move things through you. Are you interested in channeling to be able to like kind of move yourself out of the way and speak as, speak for, speak to? Just something that I'm hearing. But with balance for you, they're showing me the quantum vision board, which to me means is more like figuring out like what your personal balance is, and like divine feminine, divine masculine, a lot of times the being and the doing. Balance for you, I'm seeing, is looking at the pillars, the areas in your life, and allowing yourself to go like, okay, what is balance in this area? So what is balance for nutrition? What is balance for like my health? What is balance for my personal development? What is balance for my romantic relationships? What is balance for my friendships? And kind of looking at these different areas and asking yourself, what is balance in that space? And then what is the balance of the overview of your whole life of like, okay, I put 25% focus on this. I put 50% focus on this. I put only 10% focus on this. And if you would like me to put the quantum vision board in there again, so you can see like what pillars I use and then kind of build your own, just let me know and I'll put that on the replay as well. All right. Yeah. Open to the channeling. I love that. So when we're releasing, okay, I'll put it in there for us. When we're releasing, consider the things that stand in the way of you being a channel, calling yourself a channel, identifying with that, like feeling super intuitive. What are those doubts? What are those resistant points? Even if it's just like, why me, or like who me, or like, I don't know how to do that, whatever that is, that's great to release right now. Considering like what the manifestation or what the intention of each chakra is. So for instance, and if you need, let me know in the chat if you want me to put in a chakra overview, because I can put that in there too, depending on how familiar you are with chakras. They're showing me that like we can look at the chakra and we can go, okay, grounded. In which area am I lacking grounding? And like seeing the balance in that like, okay, if I'm lacking grounding in my like physical body, then what am I eating differently? How am I watering? Beautiful, Huddle. Thank you so much. I love community. So amazing. Okay, So let's consider what we're releasing. You guys can pop them in the chat. You can come off mute. What are we letting go of? And if you give me the reference of like, I'm letting this go to create space for this thing, I can utilize both of those. As absorbing low vibe energy from others. Okay. So we're going to release uncontrolled aura, empath, absorption, and we're going to release low vibrations, and we're going to release that which is not mine. Love that. I wish my house wasn't so loud at dinner time right now, or else I would be off mute. No worries, girl. If you want to come off mute before we're doing active practice, we don't care if it's loud. I don't care if it's loud. But if you feel most comfortable with the chat, I can totally do that. I'm releasing rage towards the ones I love. I want to talk about that a little bit. So when I read that, when I speak that, the first thing that they show me, and it's from the right-hand side, so I'm guessing this has to do with the dad, the masculine. Is this rage at the people you love? Or is this rage about other things that feel safe to release on the people you love?
Yeah.
Yes. So when we're able to shift, because like you're burdening yourself by telling yourself that you're raging at the ones that you love. You're experiencing rage, and it's safe to direct it in those intimate circles, but you're not actually raging at your children. You're not actually raging at your husband most of the time. I think a few of them are maybe husband rages, but the ones that are rage are like, he did something, he annoyed me, he bothered me, not like my day has been stressful, or I'm overwhelmed, or I don't know what to do, or I can't contain or handle that, and you are my person, so I am like safe here. Like he is, the reason that comes out in that way is because he is the divine masculine for you. He is stoic, he holds it, and he's like, oh, you're doing that thing again? Okay, we're good. Like, but I want you to like lean into that. So let us release rage, and let us release projection of rage on the ones that I love. Let us release not being able to communicate efficiently, effectively with the ones that we love. But they're definitely showing me that there's like a big, you're not actually raging at them. Okay, release negative energy towards myself. Yeah. Low self-love, esteem, and worth. We'll release that. Holding on to feelings. Yeah, death grip on feelings. Emotions that make me sick. Emotions that are not mine or mine too long. Yeah, that holding on one feels really death grippy, like really intense. Of just like, I see you digging your nails into your hand, being like, I'm gonna never let it go. And it's like, why are we so attached to that? Like, let's let that one go. Do you have anything you would like to release that you could type in there? I'm releasing self-sabotage. I'm releasing all ill feelings. Okay, tell me more about this ill feeling thing, because I see a ton. Release. Resistance to healing. Low circulation. Ill feelings. I really want to know more about that. There's something there that I want to get to. I also want to release boredom and lack of expansive time. Have anything else around ill feelings? Let me know. If not, that's totally fine. Okay. Do we have a preference if I burn before you guys close your eyes so you can see parts of it, or is it fine to do that while in active practice with eyes closed? Anybody have a preference?
I would like to see you burn it.
Cool. That's what I figured. I was like, why am I asking? I plan to do it in the middle, but I'm like, somebody wants to see it. So let's move our head and neck a little bit. Let's just elongate that spine, get into a comfortable position. really start to create some space for the spinal column, open up so all of our energy centers can really start to expand, kind of spread their wings, take up their space. All right, we'll ask that, since there's only the three of you guys, I'll have us vector towards that individual person. Obviously, some of each of ours, everybody's going to want to take, but if we can do at least one hand that vectors toward the other person, that would be really great, since we have the ability to be so intentional for each other. Offer like the heart direction, or offer your, auric field kind of pointed at her, but in some way. So let us take a deep breath. I release an uncontrolled aura. I release uncontrolled empath abilities. I release uncontrolled absorption from others. I release low vibrations. I release all that is not mine: energy, beliefs, truths, systems, settings. I release low self-love. I release low self-esteem. I release a lack of worth. I release the death grip that I have on certain feelings and experiences. I release lower vibration emotions. I release emotions that are not mine, or are mine too long. We'll make it into a tiny little torch. We will light that shit on fire. We will drop it in here. I love when they're little torches and they just spit smoke out the end. I'm such a pyro, guys. Like the fire sign in me is just like, burn. Oh, how beautiful. Gorgeous. All right. Hand on the heart. And then if you guys feel aligned, offering a hand to her, breathing in deeply. And I'll ask that you call upon everyone around you, and you can decide if you want to see them, if you want to feel them, if you want to sense them, however you desire. I am open to releasing my understanding of rage. I am open to releasing my own self-sabotage. I am open to releasing my own self-doubt. I am open to releasing a lack of communication in a healthy way, in my desired way, with those that I love. I am open to releasing, utilizing my safe space to process externally what I desire to process internally. All right, whenever you are ready, you can open your eyes and we will burn yours. Okay, so since I lit that one twice at the very end, that's reminding me to support you in finding the main, like the lingering piece of resistance. So whatever that like last thought, whatever that thought that comes up multiple times, whatever that like, oh no, it's not that, or oh no, I couldn't, like whatever that like sassy little retort is, consider what that is and really feel into that as we release. Ill feelings, like feelings towards others that could be a bit negative. Okay. Boredom and lack of expansion time, of just like, this could be so beneficial. It could be so enjoyable. It could be so luxurious. It could be so juicy. And it's the monkey mind that pulls us from that. So let's talk more on, message me on the gram. Because I'll give you something that you can do. empath that'll like help you kind of like, okay, let's utilize this. Like this gets to be time for me. 2 hands on the heart, and then let's offer. I am willing to release self-sabotage. I'm willing to release resistance to healing. I am willing to release low circulation. I am willing to release boredom and lack of expansion time utilized to my highest vibration. I release the pity party. I release all ill feelings. I release all feelings, sensations, and physicality that is not in deep alignment with my truth and highest self. And so it is. When you are ready, opening your eyes. So the message they're giving me through the burning is that adaptability, and that was one of the things we saw in this card, the like adaptability, mutability, willingness to like see things differently, do things differently, navigate things differently is really important for you right now. That as you commit to this utilizing of this time, it might not always look the same. Like one day it might be, I put headphones in and went back to sleep and listened to this thing, and that's fucking successful. And that the next day it might be, I journal 2 lines, but they're good lines. That's awesome. If you wake up in the morning and you're like, I'm going to set my intention to feel grateful at least once today, to like move this part of my body at least once today, and you accomplish that, that like that gets to be, fuck yeah, this was a successful day. That they really want you to consider like what that different perspective, that adaptability is for you in this time that you've never like really had to work with in that same way outside of this specific situation. Does that make sense? Cool. All right. Start to shift a little bit. Let's go into our comfortable position. You want to lay down. Oh no, we're out of chlorophyll water. All right. Let's start by opening the palms of the hands, placing them on the tops of the thighs, signifying to that which we believe in. We are open. We are available. We are ready. We are here. God, angels, universe, source, frequency, vibration, all that I believe in, all that I trust, all that I am available for support from. I call upon you to be present with me, present in the here, present in the now, present in the always and the forever, sinking into our connection to all that was and is and will be, calling upon the potent power of Madre Luna, who shines so brightly in the sky, speaking to us of her magical musings, her fullness, her fertility that reaches its peak tomorrow morning under the beautiful fire sign of Leo, the sign that calls to play and fun and enjoyment and passion and ferocity. Let us fiercely destroy, burn to the ground that which no longer serves us. In that space, in that place, Amongst the ashes and the fertile soil, may the seeds of our desires, of our playthings, of our adventures and expansions grow and blossom and bloom. May we bring balance into our lives, balance in all areas, every pillar, every facet, every active foundation. May we bring balance to the parts of ourselves. May we balance the elements within us, the earth, the air, the fire, the water, the ether. May we balance the divine masculine and the divine feminine within us, the being and the doing. May we offer ourselves the most beautiful magic. May we stay present with ourselves. May we offer to our heart, to our soul, to our mind, to our body, a new kind of balance, a balance that puts ourselves first. Drawing breath in through the nose, up into the space of the third eye and the crown, and then down the spinal column, circulating up at the front of the root, up each of the chakras, until it meets at the top of the head, until we create a never-ending loop with our breath, breathing in, drawing it up, then bringing it down, then drawing it up again, allowing the cycle to move through each chakra, in through the nose, up to the third eye, up to the crown, down the back of the crown, back of the third eye, down the back of the throat, down the back of the heart, down the back of the solar plexus, down the back of the sacral, down the back of the root, up the front of the root, up the front of the sacral, the front of the solar plexus, up the front of the heart, up the front of the throat, up again until it meets our breath and moves right on back up to the third eye, bringing this beautiful progression of energy that we've run new chi, new prana, new life force, new energy through the space of the third eye first, seeing beyond our sight before we allow the energy to move through us. What do you see? What do you see in the space of your third eye, in the mind's eye? What do you see physically behind your eyelids? What do you see? What do you see? What do you see? What dances in the space of your third eye? What plays amongst the space of your mind? What images light up? What shows up on the movie screen in the room of your third eye? What do you see? Again, drawing this breath through the space of the third eye, moving our intuitive powers throughout our body, throughout the energetic body, throughout the physical body, allowing this intuition, this pure life force energy of the ether, of the cosmos, of the physicality, that which keeps our body alive, that which keeps our soul expanded, moving this through our physical vessel, moving this through our energetic vessel, starting to witness this loop expand into two, one within the physical body, in through the nose, up through the forehead to the top of the skull, down the back of the head, down the back of the back, all the way down to the end of the spine, up the front, passing all of our feminine organs, moving up through the belly, up to the heart, up to the throat, and again meeting at the space of the third eye. Seeing a second loop at the very edge of our auric field, potentially an arm's length in front of you, going up and up around the head, going down and down and down beneath the feet, until we feel these two beautiful loops running in parallel to each other, moving energy through us, directing focus within us, as if we start to vibrate at a higher frequency, as if we become less matter in this moment, more vibration, dropping into deep connection with the space that you take up in space, the space within each molecule, each atom, the empty space between the matter, the empty space between the physical. Witnessing these two energy loops moving within you and around you, noticing that you are pure vibration, pure frequency, allowing yourself the space to program in this space. What is your truest desire? Now that we have released, now that we have burned, now that we have made space, what do you bring in? What do you call for? What do you imprint upon space within your soul? What message do you write on the parchment of your heart? What song do you sing in your own ear? What words do you whisper as you kiss your own third eye? What do you desire? What do you allow into your life? What have you intentionally made space for? I am open to receiving. I am open to receiving. I am open to receiving. Breathing deeply in through the nose, rolling the shoulders back, opening the heart space, softening into the heart, witnessing and recognizing the high heart, the sweetness, the gentleness, the softness, the beauty of this light, effervescent energy. The high heart speaks to you. The high heart welcomes you. The high heart encourages you. Breathing deeply in through the nose, filling ourselves with new life force, new chi, new prana, availability in all our desires. I am open. I am willing. I am sweet. I am centered. Bringing our hands to prayer mudra over the heart space. Tucking the knuckles into the chakra. Bowing the intelligence of the head to the wisdom of your sacred heart. As you are called, dropping the left hand over the heart space, the right hand on top, lining up the spine once again. Almost feeling or envisioning your hands move into the chest, into the heart space at the very center of the chakra. And feeling our grounding cord drop from our own heart all the way down to the crystalline center of the earth, the crystalline heart of Pachamama. Feeling deeply grounded, fully safe, infinitely secure in your mind, in your body, in your energy, in your awareness, in your presence, in your practice. Before we open our eyes, committing to the self that I have shifted, that I have burned and released and made a space for new. Allowing yourself a few moments to sit with what you released, feeling the physical shifts, the energetic shifts, and calling in, affirming, aligning with what you desire, with what you allow, with what you receive. As you are calm, as you are ready, wiggling the fingers, wiggling the toes, moving the head and neck from side to side, coming back into this place, coming back into this space. How are we feeling? One of my biggest control flexes is that I narrate everything. So I'm like telling myself what's happening. So like it's a thing that I know we do with our children where we're like, okay, I'm sharing everything that's happening. I'm almost narrating the experience to help them with their language, to help them understand, to just be like kind of filling that space of like, this is why we can't stand on the stove. This is why we can't play with knives. But I realized in one of my last ayahuasca journeys that my narration is control. It's a means of me controlling what I'm focusing on, what I'm looking at, what I'm feeling. So if the resistance is around control, sometimes I spend a lot of practice just going, okay, being present in the moment, not narrating, not speaking, not painting the picture, not overviewing it for myself. I spent one almost entire ayahuasca journey having to come back into the present and not hear myself talk in my own head, explaining what was happening to my own self. So I feel that one deeply. Good, comfortable. Wonderful. Thank you, loves, so much for being here, for showing up, for doing practice for yourself, for carving that time out, for being so willing, so open, so vulnerable, for creating this community. As bees gather honey, so do we gather what is sweetest of all things and build capital HIM. For me, that's the only understanding I ever had about God until I did ayahuasca. And it just struck me that like, oh, God, source, you know, the sky daddy that I was always taught about, it's not that version, it's the best of all things. And like those are the glimpses of like true source, true God. So like what are those sweetest of all things of like what's the favorite like moment walking with the dog, what's the favorite like hike, what's the favorite moment with a client, and like literally depositing as if we're fucking bees pollinating from these flowers. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna grab a little nectar from here, little nectar from here, and like, oh my God, let us grab the nectar from the most potent of our experiences in our life and create the vibration of what our lives will feel like, more so than just the technicalities of what we desire from our lives versus details oriented. Like we can use details to fill that in, but it's almost like don't bind yourself to the details. Like it could be even bigger, this or something better. Glorious. So good, guys. I will see you all soon. Bye, everybody. Good night.